Good morning, everyone. Brian here with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning, I have for us a little celebration that I do about this time of year to celebrate the Christmas and, for some Yuletide and other related traditions season through video games, which I tend to call RetroTide. There's also Retrotober, which usually happens in October around Halloween time. But I didn't really have anything that I could present for that one, so it got skipped. Anyway, we're going to do RetroTide this time, and to celebrate it, we're going to review the Atari VCS 2600 Homebrew game, Stella's Stalking. Now this one, according to my notes, is, I'm not going to go through all of the credits here, in thorough detail because we'd probably be here all night. But basically, the design and programming was done by John Payson, Daryl Spice Jr., Fred Quimby, David Weevil, Robert Munschau, that's Mundschau, so forgive me if I slur the name, and Chris Reed, with the artists being Nathan Strum and David Vasquez, with the manual and box art stuff being done by David Exton. And it was published by Atari Age as the 2007 holiday or Christmas compilation cartridge. It has approximately 5 games on it, which are Stay Frosty, Elf Dash, Cold War, and Grandma's Revenge. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Grandma's Revenge, and, let me see, what was that last one? I guess I forgot to write it down. Maybe it is, only 1, 2... Oh, okay. Let me put that on here, by the way. That's tossing the second game, okay. Forgive me. Okay, the first game, Stay Frosty, then there's Tossing Cookies, Elf Dash, Cold War, and Grandma's Revenge. There we go. I don't know how I overlooked that one. Anyway, it's kind of a long compilation, and it was developed and released 2007 by Atari, published by Atari Age, and with everyone else having worked on development. It was a pretty big collaborative project, really. Now, it basically comes, at least when I got it, which I think was a little over a year ago, it comes with a game cartridge, like this one here, where we can see it says Stella's Stalking on here. It has Atari Age on it. And says Stella's Stalking up top. Sorry about the glare. And it's pretty plain back. And then it also comes with a manual, which is pretty much the same look. We have the Stella Stalking stuff here, Atari Age here. Let me see. It gives us a little introduction on the first page and tells us about the main menu. Then it tells us a little bit about Stay Frosty. And again, I'm not going to go into all the credits and all because that would take forever. Then the second game, Tossing Cookies, tells us a bit about. Then the third game, Cold War over here. Fourth game, Elf Dash. And then it goes over Grandma's Revenge, the last game. And on the back, we get a little bit of some little bit of thank yous and publishing credits. In addition to all the programmers, artists, and designers who helped create Stella's Stalking have been created elsewhere. Special thanks to those who contributed in other ways, such as by offering suggestions, playtesting, additional programming, and so forth. Your help is greatly appreciated. Copyright circa 2008 AtariH.com. So although it's supposed to be like 2007 or 2007 compilation, also says 2008 here, so go figure. Sometimes it's a bit ambiguous as to, the development time period and the actual release time period. I just know it was like the 2007 card, to my understanding. Anyway, if you're like me and have original hardware, whether Atari VCS 2600 hardware or Atari VCS 2600 hardware or an Atari 7800 or something else like that can play it original hardware ways, that's probably more ideal because it's a 64K game ROM cartridge size. So, say if you use, like I do sometimes, a Hyperchem Retron 77 emulation hardware clone console, it usually doesn't handle homebrews well that go over 4K, though it does have some exceptions, as I've noted here before. The newer one that does both Atari VCS 2600 and Atari 7800 games, the Atari 2600 Plus, I have not gotten a chance to get my hands on. Don't know that I will. But it's also, as far as I know, a very perfectly fine, viable option, as it's much better at playing the vast majority of homebrew games for both the Atari VCS 2600 and Atari 7800, so you should be good to go with that one. If that's what you're using there. Anyway, for me, the Retron 77 is still a perfectly viable option for some if you have one. But for this one, if you're looking at something like that, you're better off with original hardware or the Atari 2600 Plus. Anyhow, since it's a 5-game compilation, I'm not sure if with the way my phone's memory and all tends to record this video might not get split into 2 parts or not. We'll just have to see, but I'm going to go ahead and get us set up with my Atari 7800 and toss this in, and we're going to take a look at the gameplay. Okay, so here we go with gameplay for Stella's Stalking Atari VCS 2600 Homebrew compilation game. There's our little opening screen. Now I'm using my gamepad style controller from Retro Game Boys because it makes it so much easier with things like this. What you do here is you press left or to the right to select the game. Here's Stay Frosty. And you press the A or B button, I guess, 1 to start. With Stay Frosty, you just move directional pad, or in my case, or joystick to move direction, and the button to jump. Well, in this case, either button. If you're using a regular Atari VCS 2600 controller, it'd be just one button. So the goal is to get rid of these little fire guys, which usually take, depending on their size, 1 or 2 runs over them, which will slightly melt Frosty. You pick up the blocks and go ahead and replenish him before he melts away. See? This game has a sequel called Stay Frosty 2. I didn't look to see if it's still available or not. But it's a standalone, whereas this one, as far as I know, you can only still get by getting this compilation. Which, by the way, is still available. I'll go into that a little more later. I don't know how many points you get for each one, but you do get some more points for each cube, as well as for putting out each little fire. Just play these through as much as I can for now. How do you say, without this thing getting split into a 2-part video, hopefully. This one's one tricky one. I've always been trying to get to these 2 right here, but never can quite make it. Let me see one more time if I can get him up there. As far as I know, Frosty doesn't quite have a double jump. Well, he might if you use it right. I know a lot of these games have that where you can do a double jump type deal, but go figure for me if I can get it right. Couldn't get it that time again. Maybe some point I'll figure that one out. So that'd be some more points if I could. goes on for as many levels as you can keep it going for, really, as far as I know. Pretty good game, and Stay Frosty 2, like I said, is supposed to be available as a standalone, so you can technically get that one, and it's supposed to be even a little bit better. Like I said, you gotta use a little bit of strategy and tactics here in a way, because you gotta retain enough ice cubes that Frosty won't just melt away, so... Got him. Now I can get back here. Yep. It's a pretty fun little game. You can just sit here and play this one as much as you want without too much of a big deal about it, I guess you could say. And there we go, got all those. These earlier little stages, levels, whatever to it, I've gotten down pretty okay so far, but... how do you say, conceivable where it could get to be a little bit of a pain in the neck. Ooh, barely made that. I was down to a head. And sometimes you have to let Frosty shrink a bit before you can actually get to certain things. Of course, just encountering them does enough of that, so... Oh, and it does appear, besides the big cubes, there are some that look like they're a little bit smaller size, so... Do have a little bit of an option on that, sometimes. Alright, still not small enough for that one. My dear mother used to say there's a solution for every problem, though. Apparently that wasn't it this time. Oh well, missed that one. It gets a bit trickier with you having to figure out how to use your resources with ice cubes a little more as you go along. Fun game where I'm concerned. It's just one of those where, how do you say, you gotta kind of figure it out as you go along and hope for the best, I guess. Got it. Took a double jump, but I'm not trying to get him to do that double jump if you just hold it for another second or what, but... Better save those for a moment. Then again... Okay, we're heading again, so... Huh, still got it. gotta be kidding me. Well, I'm barely more than a neck here, but that'll do. This one I think is one of those that's tricky enough. I haven't gotten past it much. Ha! And already getting close to 2,500 points, so... Great. Okay, there's one down. That's for you too. Ah, two down. This is one of those that'll really get you if you let it. Okay, never mind. I can't get the last two that way. I don't think I got to that one. This one before. I can remember. Huh. I think that's about as far as I've gotten before so far. Moving platform. Yeah, I haven't got to this one yet. At least not before now. Huh. Managed it. And that's over 30,000 points. Good thing I didn't get that. I wasn't trying to. Okay. Question here is, can I make it? Maybe. Huh, I did. Barely. That's one more down there. Obviously, to get this one, I'm going to have to be a bit more strategic about trying to get through it. And not going to work that way so well, so... not sure if I can get this one. As I said before, this gets progressively harder, even though, well, I managed to get him. Question now will be whether I can get to the last cube and get this other one. Maybe not. Oh, that was a bit too much. And there was the last life. So anyway, I will go ahead and reset us, which basically you do by turning it on and back off. Off and back on again. Okay, second game. Is Elf Dash. In this one, you're an elf working in the toy shop with a bunch of chaos. These little things here, they look like you press up or down when you get them, and they're like an elevator and take you where you need to go. Just press left or right when you get to the floor you're trying to get to. Get the key. Get down here and get the presents. Oops. Wrong way. Let him get in and out on it first. So you gotta avoid these guys. They serve as kind of like a enemy type. Touch them and you've had it. There we go. One more elevator down, going up and down. Door, and you're on your next level. And of course it gets a bit harder with each one. Okay, well, we're already starting to run a little low on time here anyway, but that's kind of the idea with Elf Dash. Third game. So I accidentally went over tossing cookies, which is game 2, but that's okay, we can do it a little bit retroactively. This one, you're basically Santa, and you have to try to get this little thing here, whatever it is. And every time you have to go through a structure, it's going to slow you down, but when you're in open space, you go a bit faster. Of course, the lightning bolt will make your game a lot shorter. Get enough of them like that, though, and and you can see down there it says how many times you got. See up to 9 right there? And now I've got a reindeer, so what you have to do is try to drop the present within the allotted time limit on top of the reindeer. Which, as you'll see, will, okay, time limit expired a bit before I could get there, but that's okay. Once you get the reindeer like that, he turns yellow and you go and catch him. And you just keep doing that. Kind of a fun little one right there. But again, we're running a little low on time, so I don't want to drag it out too much. Okay, then we have, after Elf Dash, is Grandma's Revenge. This one you'd think you need a driving controller for, but I found you can use like basically your regular joystick to control the direction. You press the button to have your gas and get moving. Basically, if you've ever heard or seen the Jeff Foxworthy song Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, this is kind of concept here is this is Grandma taking revenge on the reindeer by running them down. Oh, this thing right here does various things from speed you up to make you giant, as it does there. And they just keep going after reindeer. And of course, hitting any barrier, after you get a certain number, you advance another level. But hitting any barriers will take one of your points or lives away, so. Or at least it'll count towards that. See, it's kind of taking down my little health bar thing down there. And you obviously get about 3 lives to try and get this all right with. Kind of fun little game with that right there. But anyway, we don't have enough time to go through it too much, so last game is Cold War. Yep. Cold War is technically a 2-player game, so I can't do it adequately here. But what you get is 2 snowmen, basically, and as a single player, you could try playing either one. With this cursor, you can move. You grab the snowman and move him a bit, and then you hold the button as long as you want for how ranged of a shot you want. And you throw the snowballs at the other snowmen to get rid of them. This goes on for about 3 different rounds at a time. Here it's a little bit of a barrier thing, so you have to kind of throw through it first. Then of course I can get him regardless. That's 2. And there we go, that's 3, and I win. And set you up to play again. Anyway, that's the gameplay, so. Okay, so that was Stella's Stalking, the 2007 compilation for Christmas, or the holiday or Christmas compilation from Atari Age. It's a pretty good one. I must apologize for having to cut the gameplay short and not get in a whole lot on more than Stay Frosty, but time constraints, so I don't want this turned into a 2-parter unnecessarily. Anyway, I do have this one is still available at the Atari Age store. I looked. Before taxes and shipping and handling, about $30 will come like it did for me, as far as I know of, with a manual and a game cart for you. So it's pretty inexpensive. I'm well aware that the Atari Age store bit it back was actually bought from Mr. Albert Russo by Atari Age, though as far as I understand it, he is still involved in some capacity, so things didn't change a whole great deal. They changed some. One of the changes, I guess you could say, is it seems like some of the games that were not really officially licensed or unofficial, seem to have been taken out, probably to avoid with the upcoming sale any legal issues. I did try to ask him in a conversation on in a Facebook group post whether it might not be possible, maybe Atari, their current iteration might work with them, since those were actually good games, to get them actually properly licensed back out, and maybe that might even be an even better deal for the homebrew developers than it was before, but didn't really get an answer. But anyway, maybe that's possible. But irregardless, with the changes, it really has not been a whole big deal of changes with the Atari Age store and AtariAge.com yet. So if you want to take a look into getting a copy, I will leave a link to that for you in the description down below. Also, I'll leave a link to where you can find it at the Atari Age store. Also, for recommendations and links, my preferred YouTubers, Atari Age themselves, and Zero Page Homebrew both have some pretty good videos on this one. The Zero Page Homebrew, as usual, is a long one, and it's kind of far in there, but once you get to it, it's pretty good, so look it up if you like. And I'll go ahead and leave you guys recommendations, links to those too. Anyway, in advance, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and of course, have a blessed RetroTide, as I put it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My content has remained and probably will be a bit sparse for a while, but I'm going to try to pick up again some when I can. In the meantime, if you enjoy this channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comment section below. You guys take care, have a wonderful Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year when that comes up. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and hopefully I will see everyone back here again for whenever my next video hits.